Welcome to Disney Planning Insights. This is a replay of our DPI News and Notes show that we do every Tuesday over on Facebook. To see my smiling face, find us on Facebook at DPI Podcast or on YouTube at the Disney Planning Insights Podcast. Now enjoy this episode after a short ad from our friends at Anchor. Hi, I'm Matt. Welcome to Disney Planning Insights. Through creative content and live shows, we explain the hidden details of the Disney experience so that our clients can execute memorable adventures. Together with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel, we have helped hundreds of clients plan, book, and prepare for magical Disney vacations. Let our experience help you avoid common planning mistakes and maximize the enjoyment on your next Disney trip. Hey, what's going on? It's Matt with the DPI Podcast. Like I said in the opener, big show today. We've got a lot of positive news from Disney following last week's just debacle of price raises. Peter with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel is going to join us. He's getting his stuff ready on the other screen right now. We're going to have a top three. We're going to have a deep dive, and I've got a really cool piece of memorabilia to kind of share with you guys in the first segment. So as soon as Peter gets his stuff going, we'll bring him on, and we'll get this show on the road today. We're a little discombobulated with it being a Wednesday, but I think it works all in all. See if that worked. Nope. Car. Jeez. Okay. So we got this on. We got that going. Perfect. All right. So Peter's still messing around here with this camera. I know that he can kind of see what I've got, what I'm pulling out. Might be better for me to be on the bigger camera anyway. Let me darken this just another shade. Okay, so I got this cool thing in the mail last week. It was kind of interesting. From a Virginia address. Didn't exactly know where it was coming from and who it was. So I open it up, and there is a letter from the person that sent it to me, and this. I think everybody can see it. So it is from Walt Disney Productions, 500 South Buena Vista Street, Burbank, California. And I looked at it and I was like, man, this is like really, really old. So I looked at the postmark. It's from April 27th of 1961. So really, really cool from Walt Disney Productions in 1961. Open this up. And there are two things in here. The first thing is a production picture of the original Zorro. And then there's a letter. Which, in 1961, The Absent-Minded Professor was the movie that they were working on. So that is what their letterhead was. And this is from April 21st. And this was addressed to my grandmother from Hazel Gardner in Public Relations. So apparently my grandmother had reached out to Walt Disney Studios, to their costuming department, to see if she could get samples of what the Zorro costume was made out of, because they wanted to replicate it for the high school mascot in their hometown. And what they received was this letter and the picture of Zorro from Walt Disney Studios, which is really, really awesome. So this is my show and tell for the day. But I love the stamp and the post card on that. The old Mickey drawing and that kind of stuff. So No, really, really cool. Little piece of memorabilia that I got last week. But it looks like Peter is on over on the other screen, so let me go ahead and bring him over, and we will start talking some of the news. Mr. Salvadori, how you doing tonight? Peter, yo, you have no sound. I can't hear you in my ears, and I can't see on my thing. It is not any better. What's going on here? Can you hear me? Okay. Yes, I cannot hear you, and I've got you coming straight into my desktop, so let's see if I can find some properties here. This is always great. Yeah, I have nothing of you right now. It's not on mute or anything like that. No, but it looks like I should have you. Let me check it over here. More settings, device settings. Ah, there we go.
It was on you.
It was on me. It was on me. I got it.
You.
It was actually on Zoom. Zoom is the death of me sometimes. Okay, I can hear you now. So how are you doing?
I was able to hear you the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm doing slightly above average.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been like 22 days since we've done a show together. So
I didn't even know if you wanted to do a show last week. I just didn't ask.
Well, I didn't even know you were camping. So the last we had talked, it was, hey, I might be calling you from Walt Disney World.
Yeah, and then so it was really funny because up until basically Friday night, so Friday morning, I got up and I went to school, and I was sitting in my desk getting stuff ready, and I stood up, and my herniated disc aggravated.
Okay.
And so I couldn't stand up straight. It was very painful, very stiff. Still not back to 100%. I'm basically teaching from a chair and using a document camera instead of how I normally do things. But that's beside the point. So I had, up until Friday night, I had a hotel in Orlando booked from Sunday to Friday, and I had a campsite at Turkey Run booked from Sunday to Thursday. And I did not know what I was going to do. We were doing something for fall break. It was just a question of, am I camping or am I going to? And I was sure that we were going to go down to Disney. I was sure that on Saturday we were going to leave and drive through the night and get down there and enjoy ourselves, and then on Friday come back and. But then my back happened, and I was like, well, scrap Disney. And then my wife's like, well, do we got to scrap camping? And then my daughter said, Daddy, even if your back hurts and you can't come hiking with us, you can stay back at the camper with the dogs. She was so generous.
She's looking out for you. She's looking out for you.
Really, for sure. Yeah.
So it's been a while. So last week you weren't on the show, and if you didn't watch the last 10 minutes of last week's show, it is must-see TV, because I went on one of my Disney rampages, and it wasn't.
This is what happens when I'm not here. This is what happens. I dial you in.
It wasn't a bad one. I mean, it wasn't terrible. It just when you go through and you look at hundreds of price hikes on everything, the nickel and dime store was open, and it just, I was so frustrated looking at some of the things that they upped the prices on that I was just, it was just one of those moments, and it will live in Disney infamy of me just kind of taking off and just kind of getting into it. I got into a soapbox mode, and I just kind of went with it. I had nobody to stop me.
Right. Normally, you'll like get fired up, and I'll be like, "Well, but."
Yeah, there was no stopping me last time. So lots of price hikes last week. Let's get into the news this week, because not so much on this week's side. So let me start the 15-minute timer, and let's get into the news. All right, let's start in World, and we're going to talk about Disney's Blizzard Beach water park is reopening on November 6th. And what does that mean, Peter?
It means that the other one is probably going to close for refurbishment on about November 6th.
That is exactly what it means.
It means Typhoon Lagoon is out of service for the next 3 months or so.
Yes, exactly. So that is exactly what it means. So Blizzard Beach will open on November 6th. Typhoon Lagoon is going to close on November 5th. So you have basically a pretty clean switch over for the staff and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
And this has been the case for the last couple of years. But pre-pandemic, both water parks were running in tandem. But over the last couple of years, it has been very commonplace that Typhoon Lagoon is the essentially somewhere around the March to April through November water park. And then Blizzard Beach takes us through the winter months, which makes sense because it's Blizzard Beach. I am curious if we're ever going to get back to the point where they are both open for long hauls of time. But as it sits right now, I don't think that's in the plans. I think they'll use the two of them to create a single constant offering for guests, but never really have both as an option. I don't know if I can predict that I'll see them both open again simultaneously.
I think you will, and I think it's something that comes maybe later next year, as we get to like this full on, hey, the parks are completely back open, park hopping's all back to normal, and all that the other jazz that's going with that. I think you're going to see both water parks open again as well, as they figure out the staffing and that kind of stuff. So,
yeah, and what you said there is the key, right? Like,
yeah.
Now that the college program is back in full swing, now that the workers from specifically in Epcot, the workers from the actual pavilions, the whole exchange program is up and running in those countries again. The more hands on deck, because that those people coming over on the international exchange program, and those the college program workers, they don't require the same level of pay and healthcare and investments and all those other things as your standard everyday full-fledged career employees are going to have. So
correct.
And as we talked about, it makes up for, I don't know, I think you and I have looked into this before, but between the college program and the international program and all these programs that Disney runs, it makes up for a very substantial portion of their standard staff, somewhere around 30%, I believe, of their staff is from those programs. So I think that's where we stand with those. We're going to get the switch over in the water parks for the winter, and then about May-ish, they'll do it again. They'll flip them back, and you'll have Typhoon Lagoon
and Blizzard Beach. I think when we look at this time, maybe next year, we're looking at, are both water parks going to be open? Now, normally they don't do it over the winter. They do it during the summer. But I don't know in 6 months if that staffing is going to change any for them. So,
I guess we will see.
Moving on, Luminous webpage added to the Disney World website along with higher resolution version of previously released concept art. What are the odds that this opens on December 5th now?
That's the scheduled date.
That is the scheduled date, since it's already been pushed back once.
No, I think it's happening.
They had to do a whole new score for it.
Have faith.
They haven't even run a test yet.
I like December 5th. I'm putting eggs in the basket because my wife and I, the kids aren't here right now, so I can say it out loud because they don't watch the show. We are foregoing the standard gift giving, and we are pulling a long weekend since we didn't go for fall break either. I think we are going to pull a long weekend during the Christmas season, and I am targeting post December 5th very intentionally so that I can hope to see Luminous relatively soon after its release. So I am believing in the same way I have believed in many other things and been proven correct in many other moments down at Disney World that I am going to watch Luminous.
All right, over at Magic Kingdom, Disney released some of the additional details about the new nightly show Frozen Holiday Surprise, debuting November 7th at the Magic Kingdom Park. Olaf and than 100 of his Snoggy siblings will decorate Cinderella's castle with festive touches. So it sounds like you're going to get some characters, you're going to get some live people there, and then Elsa's going to kind of put the finishing touches on the castle. But it's all without the dream lights.
And that's the one. Oh, all of those on that castle are just wonderful. And they didn't do it for the 50th, and you're like, okay, fine, we're really showcasing this castle and the new paint job and all that stuff. But I was really hoping they were going to put them back this year.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were, and were extremely disappointed when they found out that it wasn't going to happen. So,
yeah.
And we're still kind of holding out hope, but yeah, no, it's not going to happen. It's official now. We've got a Frozen stage show as part of that.
I'm excited about all them Snowgies, though.
Yeah.
That's got to just be the core. I can't imagine they're going to be like, I don't know. It's Disney, so who knows? They could pull stuff off.
Opening date announcement for Pixar Place Hotel is going to be January 30th on 2024 over at Disneyland Resort. So this is basically the refurb of Disney's Paradise Pier Hotel. And they're just kind of going all in on Pixar with it. So.
Oh, it matches the themed area in the park.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just extending that.
For you Disney Plus subscribers out there, Spider-Man Far From Home will be swinging into Disney Plus on November the 3rd. So mark your calendars next week. Next Friday. Far From Home. So we're going to have to figure out, do we watch the new episode of Loki on Friday, since this whole Pacific time BS doesn't let the kids watch it the night it actually comes out? Or do we watch Far From Home next Friday?
Pacific Coast has nothing to do with it. Parental decision making.
Parental decision making. Good parental decision making.
Nothing is stopping you as a family from watching it as it releases.
Disney is, because it's after 9 o'clock. Kids aren't allowed to have the TV after 9.
This is shifting blame. This is gotcha media, if I've ever heard it.
Hey. Disney's the reason for my financial troubles. Disney's the reason that we can't watch Loki on Thursday night. So, I'm just going all in on that. Zootopia at Shanghai Disney Resort opens officially on December the 20th. We've gotten a lot of looks at this. There's a lot up on Disney Parks blog now. This day to night thing that they're showing is absolutely spectacular. It's going to be a really cool area. But with that being said, I'm super glad that it's not kind of the idea that they have for Animal Kingdom anymore.
Yeah, and even just the concept art that you and I saw at D23, at this point it was a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
Feels like yesterday. Even just that, I was like, it's a little cartoony for what I want Animal Kingdom to be.
Correct.
So yeah, totally agree with you. As we've already talked about in previous shows, very excited about the new blue sky direction that Animal Kingdom is headed.
Yes. Disney Cruise Line, Haunted Mansion Parlor, going to be open on the Disney Treasure. Now,
it was making me want to book a treasure cruise next year.
This is interesting. Let me see if I can get my desk to move real quick. Let me see if I can pull it out. So, I have a map of the Disney Treasure. We all got it at D23.
Oh yeah, I have that around here somewhere too.
And surprisingly enough, there is not a Haunted Mansion area on here. Like, they kind of went through like all the different areas and things that were on this, and I looked at this. There is not anything that would resemble Haunted Mansion on here. Now,
isn't that map just showing like the top deck where all the entertainment and shops and all that stuff are?
Well, it was showing like all of the theaters and what they were going to do with some of the shows and that kind of stuff as well. So
yeah, but that's all like top level.
Yeah, but this would have been like entertainment area as well. So because they did like the Jungle Cruise bar, and the Jungle Cruise bar was on the initial, like the release show that they had for it. So just kind of interesting that that's something that they're throwing in. I don't know if they miscounted how many bars they had and just decided, hey, we have the ability to do another bar. What do you want to do? Hey, let's do Haunted Mansion.
Listen, if that's what happened, I support everything about the meeting that you just had in your head. Like, I am beyond, like I said, we have already been looking heavily at some various cruises, and I was in between, are we going on Fantasy, are we going on Wish, or, man, I think I got to hold out for the Treasure, And then that way, the entire time I'm there, I can also sing Bruno Mars. No, it's not Bruno Mars. It's who sings Treasure? Hold on, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Is it? Okay. Anyway, keep going. But then, yeah. But I can sing it to the boat, so it'll be totally awkward.
All right. Theme park tickets, we're starting to get some ideas on some of the different deals that we're going to have in 2024 on the ticket side. The first one that they've released is the military personnel ticket. It's going to be a 4, 5, or 6 day military salute ticket with Park Hopper or Park Hopper Plus. They do these military tickets pretty consistently.
Always.
The 6 day ticket is $409 plus tax with Park Hopper, $439 plus tax with Park Hopper Plus. Yeah.
Just for the record, because I have booked, there was a period of time where a former friend was military and they used me, and then it went so well that they just kind of like handed my name out to a bunch of military friends. So I did a lot of military bookings. I fully expect this to be the case with these tickets. These tickets cannot just be purchased online through Disney. They typically have to be purchased at your base post and then you just link them to your My Disney Experience account. So I anticipate these tickets to work the same way as normal, where you have to buy the discounted tickets through your base post.
Yes, it says Disney Military Salute tickets may be purchased at participating U.S. military sales outlets by eligible service members.
Which are the vast majority, especially U.S.-based base posts. If you just go into your base and you go to that commissary post where you get all the stuff, like, they will be able to service you on those ticket requests.
There you go. There you go.
But on the flip side of that, a lot of times Disney, just for our military viewers, Disney a lot of times doesn't post hotel military discounts. And so you can obviously do shades of green, but most of the time Disney has like almost a off the record military deal running for anywhere from 20 to 30% off your room. And if you get with a decent travel agent, they can work all that out with you, get you that discounted room at anywhere besides shades of green. And then you just get those tickets and give the confirmation number to your Disney travel agent, and all those things are very easy to kind of meld together into a really great trip.
There you go. There you go. Well, that was the end of our 15 minutes, but I still got a ton of news, so let's kind of rapid fire the rest of this news. So, for fans of Enchantment, the 6 or 8 of you that are out there, Allie's one of them. Allie liked Enchantment. I'm regretting some of my parenting decisions.
I liked Enchantment. No, Enchantment was fine. It was not happily ever after, but it was a perfectly acceptable show.
So if you go to any of the Disney After Hours events at Magic Kingdom, you will get the ability to see Happily Ever After and Enchantment on the same nights.
That actually sounds awesome.
It does. I mean, 2 different fireworks shows on the same night, that's pretty awesome. So, yes, I didn't like Enchantment. I'm down with that.
Peter.
After Hours events will return in 2024. They've announced a lot of them now.
Like 8 of them announced, yeah.
Yeah. Disneyland Paris, January refurbishments, flying carpets, Enchanted Passage, Carousel, Cars Road Trip, Hyperspace Mountain, Teacups, Big Thunder Mountain, all have week to multi-week refurbishment closures coming up in January. It's all on the DLP report website. International Festival of the Arts, FARTS, is coming back January 12th through February 19th. That seems like a really, really short run for FARTS. No?
It's pretty normal. Nope, that's about right.
Over in Disneyland, the Adventureland Treehouse is reopening on November the 10th. It has been closed for a long time. Disney Skyliner routine maintenance will happen again in January 16th through 21st. Pop Century Art of Animation to Caribbean Beach to Hollywood Studios, 16th through the 27th. Caribbean Beach to Riviera, and Riviera to Epcot. So,
just for the record, this year's Festival of the Arts ran January 13th through February 20th. It is literally the exact same dates. It's just one day earlier to one day earlier. And you got to think, like, all the other things are just about staffing food booths. This one is about bringing in artisans and craft vendors and all of, like,
yeah.
It's got to be a quick thing. Like, you're literally asking these people, because Disney's not staffing these booths. The artists are, and their family members are. Yeah. And I'm sure Disney's working with them on lodging deals and stuff like that. But like, these people literally just like sit at their booth trying to sell you their Disney themed art for 12 hours a day for 6 weeks. I mean.
And then Moonlight Magic, last thing I've got, Moonlight Magic events returning for DVC members in 2024 as well. There were, 2, 4, 6, 9, 11 events announced.
All throughout the year too.
Yeah. Now, one thing about those events is you are only allowed to book one event per park throughout the year. So you can't do multiple in the Magic Kingdom. You get to choose one of the dates in each one of the parks. And they have events in at Typhoon Lagoon, and then all the parks in Walt Disney World as well.
So, and Disneyland as well.
Yeah, there were 2 dates in Disneyland as well, yeah. So yeah, like I said, a ton of news tonight. All good news, so not allowed to complain a whole lot on that. But let's get into the fun part of the show, because the news is just getting us to the inevitable. And that's going to be the top 3. Uh-oh, Chewy's back. Business trip.
Did the people move around?
It does tingle a little bit. Hey everybody, welcome to DPI Top 3. I'm Matt with the DPI podcast. Over on the other screen, Peter with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel. If you've been here before, you know how this works. If you haven't, thanks for joining us. We are going to randomly choose a category. We're going to cancel something. Me, I guess. And then and then we are going to have 20 seconds to come up with our top 3. I've got a bag full of poker chips here and a spreadsheet with a bunch of numbers on it, and we are going to go with number 1. I don't think we've ever done number 1. So
I just did number 1 before the show.
There you go. All right, here we go. The top 3 changes that we would make to Magic Kingdom. Wow. Okay.
What?
You've got 20 seconds.
Do you want to go to Disney? Contact me at Princesses of the Mouse Travel, and I'd love to work with you on your amazing itineraries.
Yeah. This one's interesting, yeah.
Okay, I got my number 3, and then I'll figure out number 2 and 1. You want me to go first?
I've got my number 1, but
Ooh.
I think I can. I'm good. I think I've got 3 good ones. So
I just like make up. I just make up stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure.
Go for it.
Okay, so this is. If you go way back in our show's history, you will find where Matt and I kind of went into each park and we talked about the details about the parks and all of this stuff. And so one of my favorite kind of like trivia things is that Disney is very, very good at theming their areas. They're very, very good. They want you to immerse yourself in an experience. And Liberty Square in Magic Kingdom, if you look at the walkway, it is very intentionally pitched down, and it is kind of like a light brown color to simulate colonial roads in cities. And back then, there was no plumbing, and so people would literally just throw their chamber pots out. And so if you look in Liberty Square, you have intentionally sloped down to the middle point paths that are kind of a lighter brown, and then going through the middle is a darker brown that is supposed to represent back old colonial cities where there would literally be a river of excrement flowing through the town. And Matt and I talk about this as we talk about Disney and their ability to theme and all of that stuff. But little known fact is to really keep on theme, there is no bathroom in Liberty Square. The nearest bathrooms are the ones that are in the walkway between Adventureland and Frontierland,
yes,
and the ones over in the Rapunzel-themed area heading into Fantasyland.
Yes.
So you have a dry spell of bathrooms in this park from Rapunzel to past the trading post, a relatively large stretch. Now, there are technically bathrooms in Diamond Horseshoe, but you have to like be eating there to go to that bathroom. They're not just going to let you come walk in. And so if I was in charge, I do think the theming there is a bit over the top. Perhaps we could find some area over there by Columbia Harbor, or back there behind Hall of Presidents over by Sleepy Hollow. Just put in a bathroom facility there, because that is a pretty big stretch. There have been multiple times where I'm kind of like in that Liberty Tree area, and I'm sitting there going, well, gosh darn it, where's the nearest bathroom? Man, that nearest bathroom is like a decent hike from right here. So if I were in charge, I would put a bathroom into the Liberty Square area, because it's just a pretty long stretch without one.
There you go. That's a good start on this. I'm going a little logistics on my first one, and I have an issue where the security is for the Contemporary, if you're walking from the Contemporary, because so many people ride buses to Magic Kingdom to go to the Contemporary for dining reservations. You have to go in to the Magic Kingdom security area, go through security there, then come out and walk down that path to the Contemporary.
Or go through to get on the monorail to go to Contemporary. So,
yeah.
Either way, you got to come in,
Yeah. So I would love to see some loop around or shoot where if you're riding a bus into the Magic Kingdom area, that you can get to the Contemporary, and the monorail's a bad option because you go through security before you go on the monorail. But if you're walking back to the Contemporary where you don't have to go through security, something simple to where either they move that security table down more towards the entrance of Magic Kingdom, because it's right there at the crosswalk, basically.
Yeah, you could very easily pull the Contemporary crosswalk security up to where it starts to widen out into that plaza in front of the scanning into the park. Yeah, and then you could get a right shoot to just stay out of security, and it would also kind of shrink security up. You wouldn't have to send security cast members all the way down that walkway. They could just be part of the Magic Kingdom security rotation area.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a bad idea. That's a very, very wonderful point.
So, like I said,
totally.
Logistically thinking out of the top one, but let's go ahead. Let's get to our choice number 2. Choice number 2, Peter. Where are you going?
So, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, so I'm letting you, please feel free if I'm missing something, because perhaps I am. But when I think of the iconic princesses, okay, I've got Little Mermaid, I got Ariel, she's got a ride. I've got Belle, who has a fairy tale, as well as Gaston's area, a Be Our Guest, kind of, we got her.
Yeah.
We've got Snow White, she's got her thing. We've got Cinderella has her castle as well as the carousel.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Where, if I think of like the classic Disney princesses, where is Aurora in Magic Kingdom?
Fairy Tale Hall.
Right, like that's so she's got a castle in Disneyland, great, but I would love to see something, and then you've got even some newer princesses. Tiana's about to go into, like, we're making Tiana the whole Bayou adventure. Mm-hmm. We've got Tangled, at least we have her castle. Like, Aurora's not in Magic Kingdom, and she's one of the only princesses missing from Magic Kingdom. There's plenty of area back there to the right of Ariel's Grotto before you head into Casey Jr. Circus area. There's even plenty of area there kind of behind Small World by that Tangled area where we could like shoot some stuff off. I don't know. Fantasyland is missing one of the most iconic Disney princesses, whether it even just be in some architecture or some like nod to, I don't know, like, but give me something, give me a ride, give me a show, give me other than just like she's in Princess Fairy Tale Hall, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my thought of I'm just thinking through Fantasyland, and Aurora's kind of getting the shaft, and it doesn't make sense. I get that she's got a castle, but you go over to Disneyland and there's plenty of Cinderella around. Like, there's no reason why we can't have Aurora over here.
In Disneyland Paris, Maleficent's dragon is under the castle.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, no, I'm 100% on board with you right there. I mean, hell, they could have taken that area that they repurposed, that Moana meet and greet that they repurposed, and made that a Sleeping Beauty meet and greet, a very well-themed Sleeping Beauty meet and greet, where you could have brought in, Sleeping Beauty, you could have brought in Maleficent, you could have done a lot of different things there, because Maleficent's such a strong character during the not-so-scary parties and that kind of stuff, so...
Right. I guess that. So if I was in charge, I would go into Fantasyland, and whether it's pulling out something and retheming it or whatever, there's got to be a place to put in some Aurora, either through ride or experience, because she's missing right now, and she's pretty much the only Disney princess that doesn't have anything big going on.
Yeah. Nope. I'm there with you. Okay. So my last two are actually going to be kind of in the same area. I don't know how I'm going to word my number one yet, but my number two is redo Space Mountain. It's compared to now all of the other Space Mountains around the world.
Oh, Disneyland's destroys it.
Yeah, it's a hunk of junk. Redo it. Take the time, knock it down, do what they're doing in Hong Kong. Put a beautiful Space Mountain in there. You just put this huge, beautiful Tron show building right next to it. And it just makes it look like this old, decrepit dinosaur of a ride. Next year is going to be a big year for project announcements. Give World a new Space Mountain. And it's such a herky-jerky, 2-rail, single row passenger train. Update it, go to the new trains, make it a much better ride experience, upgrade the whole interior to where you can do the LEDs and the projection screens and that kind of stuff, to where you can do the things that all of the other Space Mountains can do now with Hyperspace Mountain and everything else that they're doing with that ride. It's just, that's the one ride that I feel like needs love now, because it's just been shadowed by Tron in that area. So
yeah, and that ride is just boom, boom, boom,
yeah.
boom, 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 boom. Like, I'm good for like a Space Mountain ride a trip. I get off of it, and I'm like, yep, check, did it.
All right, let's get to our number ones. Peter, before we do your number one, where can people find you?
Facebook is the number one place. I was just talking with my wife the other day. The vast majority of my, a lot of my clients come from previous clients, kind of tell their friends and all of that stuff, because outside of this show, I don't really advertise my services. I have done 9 to 5. This is a passion, not a career. Dang it. I missed alliteration. I could have said this is a passion, not a profession. I apologize. But I really love doing it, and I have plenty of room for other clients in there. So if you are interested, find me on Facebook. The vast majority of my new clients, even though we have the website, we have this whole thing that Matt and I do, the vast majority of my new people, when I go, hey, where'd you find me? They go, oh, yeah, I searched Facebook. And good. And I know a lot of that Facebook traffic is obviously as a result of this show and the things that we do and keeping everybody up to date with the news and all of that good stuff. So find me over there. But alas, I will move on to my number one. And for my number one, I'm going to kind of take the same route as your number three, Matt. I am going to, with my third and my second one, I went into the park and instituted some changes. And of course, when we're talking about changes we would make, we're not even including the current blue sky that is lingering over Magic Kingdom.
I'm staying away from that 100%.
Right. Like, I'm just going in and improving the current. I'm not looking at potential future expansion, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to actually head outside of the park, and I'm going to go onto the monorail loop, and I am going to say that it is about time that we put that 4th hotel on that monorail loop that has been teased and tantalized many, many times throughout. Like, there was supposed to be a hotel just north of Contemporary that was nixed and put off to the side. And then there's supposed to be a hotel all the way across, like either adjacent to Wilderness Lodge or over to the north side of that lake, back by in between Contemporary and Fort Wilderness and Wilderness Lodge. You've got all of that room over there. You've got all that room to the north, all that room to the south, even coming in towards the east side of it on the actual monorail loop. There is plenty of room between the Contemporary and the TTC to use that land and get at least a decent sized facility put there. Again, integrating that monorail as a big draw as to why I would want to come and stay at that resort. So great. It's wonderful that the Grand Floridian expanded their villas up. We'll see how the Polynesian pulls off. I just hope that they use that Spirit of Aloha dining space where they are now constructing this kind of tower of villas and suites to at least create a restaurant that does a Spirit of Aloha dinner show to a smaller degree. Give me some hula dancers and the fire, bring back the fire guy. Like, that guy was just such a, you want to talk about, like, orb got created and rolled down the chute. Like,
core memory, yeah.
Like, that was from my childhood. I remember back, like, 13 years old, like, wow, look at the freaking fire guy. It's just a shame that, the generation right now is missing that. So at least at Polynesian. So back to what I was saying, like, it's great that we're expanding the Poly and the Floridian. Contemporary's already been kind of expanded and is kind of at its max, I think, in terms of its size. Give us another one and just pick a theme and give us something great, whether it's just south, whether it's next to Wilderness, whether it's north of Contemporary. Put it on the boat line, put it on the monorail. I would love to see a 4th resort hit the monorail, but if not, give me a 6th resort on the boat system. That would be absolutely wonderful if I was in charge of Magic Kingdom. I'm going to branch out to the Magic Kingdom area, and I'm going to expand the hotel offerings there, being the key park that people with kids bring their kids to.
Yeah, and I'm with you on this 4th monorail. Now, I want to say when they did the original 2, so the original 2 when Walt Disney World was built, were the Contemporary and the Polynesian Village. There was supposed to be a 3rd hotel built on a Venetian-themed or Mediterranean-themed resort. That was supposed to be built with the initial 2, and it just never happened.
I would even settle for a resort being built down the Epcot line on the return side of it, or even like the lines come close enough where you could build a resort there where the Epcot monorail stops and you can get on heading to Epcot, or the return line stops and you can get on it to come back to the TTC, and just kind of reconfigure how that looks so that I could get off the return line and get straight onto the express line. Like, just like that would be an even option. Like, go explore the property down there and put a big hotel on the dual line spot where we could kind of monorail either way.
Yeah.
When you and I talked about Epcot, we talked about give me a gate hotel. Well, doing what I just said, pick some of, like the whole way from the TTC to Epcot is just
open
grass area.
Yeah.
For the vast majority of it, right? So, just that is my thing. If I was in charge of down there, if I'm looking at building another hotel, that is my. I'm eagle eyeing in on that. That is the number one opportunity for a hotel, and I would even dare say, try to put it in the mid to upper intermediate range. Maybe pull a little bit of the extravagance out of it, in the same way that we have a value and an intermediate on the Skyliner. We need to put an intermediate on the monorail, just pull away a little bit of the pomp and circumstance, and give me like a more, like you said, Mediterranean theme, Caribbean beach style layout, but there's a monorail station that I can get to.
Yeah. No, that would be awesome, because if you put a large intermediate, when you think of those intermediates, they're enormous resorts.
Yeah.
That would make a ton of sense.
Transfer bus to a monorail station would be amazing.
Yeah. No, that would be awesome. No, that's a great idea. Okay. So before I get into my number one, if you have a better idea than we had, let us know. Put it in the comments. Talk to us on Spotify. There'll be a Q&A up on Spotify, or go over to the website and hit the little text box up in the top right corner, and you can send your answers there, or your top 3 ideas. Jabo, which I think I know who it is now, sent us 31 a couple weeks ago. 31 new top 3 ideas, which was pretty cool. So definitely want to say thank you over there. But getting into my number one, I'm going to go back into Tomorrowland. And when I think of Tomorrowland, and when I think about kind of the newer characters that could embody Tomorrowland, there's only one set of characters that really comes to mind for me, and that's Wally and Eve. And we need to do something for them in Tomorrowland. I mean, you've got that big show building where Alien Encounter was at one point, Stitch's Great Escape was there. You've got that space there. Or, and this is where the meme where everybody's pointing the sword at me, change the People Mover to a Wally themed ride. And then you've got Wall-E in Tomorrowland. I think it's one of those things where, you know, when they were testing those free range drone, or the droids out in Galaxy's Edge in California, they have a free range Wall-E that they could just motor around through Tomorrowland.
Yeah, I mean, for the Star Wars stuff now, they're making real functioning droids. Like, you know, real Chopper came out on the stage during D23. Like,
yeah,
there's no reason. And we've got to have the technology to make an approximate functional Eve even. I'm going to double down on that. Like, why aren't Meet the Robinsons in there?
Yeah.
You know, like, Meet the Robinsons is the number one movie, in my opinion, that tips its hat to Walt. Like, in terms of newer age movies, it is the number one movie that straight up says this was Walt's dream, and we don't have it in Tomorrowland. It's literally like, give me something. Like, let me meet some of the characters, or give
you don't have that. You don't have the Rocketeer. You don't have. I mean, there's a lot of great Disney movies that there's really nothing there that they could do so much with in that area. There is a lot of wasted space in Tomorrowland. There is. So, all right. Well, that's our top 3 for tonight. Like I said, if you have a better top 3, or if you have a better number 1 than us, put it in the comments. Send us an email. Put it in the Q&A over on Spotify. Let us know. We'd love to rehash some of your guys' ideas on a future show. But past that, thank you guys all for joining us tonight. And if you're sticking around, we're going to get into our new segment, the Disney Deep Dive. So let's check this out. last week. Hey, it's Matt with the DPI podcast. Welcome to DPI Deep Dive. I'm going to pull a category out of this baggie here, and we are going to... What? All right. So Peter wants it to be called R3D3, so let's go with R3D3 tonight, and we've got chip number 25. That's crazy. We had chip number 1 for top 3. We got chip number 25 for R3D3, and chip number 25 is... Oh, hell, I don't know. Helps if I am any sorts of... Why can I not even find what I'm looking for here? There's the list. 25. 20. Animal Kingdom Lodge. Here we go. Okay. We're going to try that again because it sucked really, really bad, and I can cut it wherever I want.
Those of you live.
Yeah. Hey everybody, it's Matt with the DPI podcast, and we are going to be doing R3D3. That's what Peter wants. That's what we're going with. We've got chip number 25 tonight. Chip number 25 is going to be Animal Kingdom Lodge. Here we go. Yeah, I had all kinds of things screwed up on that, so I have no clue what was going on. But hey, I'm Matt with the DPI podcast. Over on the other screen is Peter with Princess of the Mouse Disney Travel. And tonight we're talking about Animal Kingdom Lodge. So Peter, let's go ahead and start off by talking about where is Animal Kingdom Lodge located?
So if you go to the southwest corner of the property, right about where the property border ends, you will find Animal Kingdom Lodge. So if you kind of map out the property, Animal Kingdom is down there over to the southwest area of the property. Over to the southeast, you have Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Disney Springs all kind of close to each other. And kind of up towards the northern part of the property, you have Magic Kingdom. Animal Kingdom Lodge is exactly what it sounds like. It is very much in theme with Animal Kingdom in that it is celebrating the diversity of the wildlife, and very specifically, or most notably, I should say, the African wildlife is the biggest thing that you're going to see come through. The lobby is stunning. The building is massive. Think Wilderness Lodge type of vibes, big wood architecture, huge wood columns, and then we have the animals carved into the wood lay, and we've got really awesome kind of like tribal authentic
And we lost him. Oh, we hit our hour.
You still? Am I back?
You're back. You're back.
Okay, that was really funky. My computer was like, "Would you like to join the meeting?" I was like, "I'm already here." Where did I cut out, or did I kind of stop with like the theming and the architecture and all that?
Theming and architecture. You were right
Perfect.
there.
We made it. So that is kind of a little taste into Animal Kingdom Lodge. So what else? You want me to just keep going about Animal Kingdom Lodge, or
no?
Or what,
so I'll jump in here. So Animal Kingdom Lodge is part of the Deluxe Resorts on Walt Disney World property, and as part of Animal Kingdom Lodge's kind of property, there's a couple of other hotels, just like you have Bay Lake Tower with the Contemporary. Animal Kingdom Lodge has Kadini Village, and you have Jumbo House.
It's an A in there, buddy. It's Kadani Village.
Kadani Village.
Kadini, what? like
Kadini
old...
sounds more African.
No, it sounds like a magician.
And on top of that, you have your own savannah out the back of the resort. 2 savannas is what Peter is motioning, not just giving me the peace sign or cut it out. But yeah, so huge, massive property for this resort. Average room rate right now, about $500 a room, and it kind of goes up from there when you want, multiple bedrooms, Savannah view, preferred rooms, that kind of stuff. It goes up from there. But there are multiple room types within, and you're going to get this with mainly all your deluxes. Is there's just a lot of different room types.
Yeah, and most of that, just to kind of jump in on those room types. So you've got the Animal Kingdom Lodge that has either 2 queen or king rooms as kind of like that standard hotel-y feel. But then Animal Kingdom Lodge was built as a DVC property as well, kind of the same way that Beach Club and Boardwalk and even like all of these resorts. You have kind of like your hotel rooms, and then you have your villas. So you have your studios, your 1-bedroom, your 2 bedrooms. So there's Animal Kingdom Lodge, which is kind of like your main building. And then attached to that, again, very similarly to like Beach Club and Boardwalk, I'm thinking most notably, you have Jumbo House, which is all still a part of this big main building. But then notably separate, built way later, is the Kadani Village, which is all suites and villas and things along those lines. And that's where Matt was talking about. The most notable thing about this resort is those Savannah views. Where else, besides going to Africa, are you going to be able to wake up in the morning, look out onto your terrace, and there's a freaking giraffe 100 feet away eating from a leaf on a tree? And they have that. So they've got a savannah. The larger savannah is attached to that larger building, but there is still a savannah off of the Kadani Village. So really, really awesome hotel. But just to jump in on those room rates, just to kind of explain the whole DVC aspect of this, because if you are a DVC member, Jumbo House and Kadani Village are both DVC properties. General public can book those as well. You're just going to expect kind of a little higher room rate Matt was kind of talking about. So you're going to be looking at upwards of like the 700 range, 800 range in order to start moving into some of those villas. So
yeah,
back to you, Matt.
And I'm looking at June, the first week of June next year, $500, $497.83 for a resort view room in the lodge. $497 in Kadani Village for a deluxe studio. And the prices go all the way up to a paltry $2,131 a night for a 2-bedroom suite with club level access at Animal Kingdom Lodge. So yeah. And there are 17 different room types here.
Yeah, and that's right, because you can get like 2 queens with a standard view, 2 queens with a water view, 2 queens with a savannah view,
yeah.
Studio with like just Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. Okay.
Tons and tons, for sure.
So let's talk a little bit about the restaurants there. Go ahead and talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, two fantastic restaurants. One of them, well, obviously there's like quick services and stuff like that. You know what? I have some stuff pulled up about this. Give me 12 seconds. There they are. Fantastic. So over in Animal Kingdom Lodge, there are two very kind of like noteworthy, but wow, vastly different reservation style restaurants, in addition to, you know, some like marketplace quick servicey type things. So there's other options if you're staying than just sitting down. But like, for example, I have a client who they've been going quite a few times. They're going to be going down here, and we've got them a reservation at one of these restaurants on their off day, because their idea is they're going to go explore, because this hotel, you don't have to stay there. As with all hotels, this hotel is an exploration and an experience as much as it is a place to lay your head at night. And so their plan is they're going to go to this great restaurant, and then they're going to go, because the savannas not only have views from the rooms, there are pathways throughout the hotel that let you walk around the savannas, and even terraced balconies that let you overlook out into the savannas throughout these resorts. So anyway, back to this. In Animal Kingdom Lodge, so Jumbo House area and the main Animal Kingdom Lodge area, you have Boma. And Boma is a buffet-style restaurant. It's going to have your family-friendly fare, but it's also going to have a tip towards African cuisine flared into there as well. And so you're going to find some kind of traditional African cuisine dishes put out into the buffet spread as well, offering breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Really, really wonderful buffet. If you are the type of person, you don't want to order from a menu, you want to get a plate of food, you want to sample a bunch of stuff. Boma, Flavors of Africa, is a very fantastic restaurant. Then you've got, in almost the exact opposite vein, you have Jiko. And Jiko it's called Jiko, a cooking place. And it is like exploratory cuisine, like high-level dining is the way to think about it. So there you're going to have a menu. You're going to have kind of this these really, really elegant dishes. You know, think those big reduction sauce drizzles and those sprigs of herbs over the top, like fine cuisine meal brought to you. And so Jiko, if you are looking for more of a refined dining experience, there is a signature dining experience waiting for you over at Animal Lodge. And I would be completely beside myself, and we would not have done Animal Kingdom Lodge justice if we don't slide over to Kidani Village and talk about its star of the show, which is Sanaa. So Sanaa is its main restaurant over in Kidani Village. And what's awesome about Sanaa is you can sit down for breakfast without a reservation and just sort of order off of cheaper a la carte menus, or you can arrive for lunch and dinner and order off of a little bit kind of like between Boma, it's not a buffet, it's a menu, but not all the way up to Jiko. So you're not all the way to these signature dishes. You're kind of at this really nice sit-down restaurant, primarily offering African cuisine, but definitely family-friendly and things for all palates there. Here's what makes Sanaa so amazing. Its restaurant windows are directly against that savannah area over at Kidani Village. And so if you are patient or lucky enough, because patient enough to tell the person who your host or hostess that you would like to wait for one, you can have a table up against the window, directly butted up against the savannah. Like, you want to talk about a really, really amazing, unique dining experience over at the Kidani Village side of the resort. The one drawback, if I may, before I hand it back over to Matt, is that Kidani Village is uniquely not Animal Kingdom Lodge / Jumbo House. Like, don't go to the wrong one, is my point. Because coming from parks, and that's the other downside of this. It's Animal Kingdom Lodge, so you would think, oh, walking access to Animal Kingdom. No, I don't know the exact distance, but I have gone into Animal Kingdom Lodge, and it's a solid mile guaranteed, if not more, from even the turn in to start approaching Animal Kingdom's gates.
Yeah.
You go past that turn in, and then you keep going. So don't think like, oh yeah, I'm going to stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge, and no, you're going to get on a bus and you're going to go ride to Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not even the same savannas.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. This savannah where like Kilimanjaro Safari runs is not the Animal Kingdom Lodge savannas.
Yeah.
But again, in the same vein, wildlife conservation and education and all of this stuff is happening in distinct different locations, much more than just Animal Kingdom. So I'll turn it back over to Matt to see what he wants to talk about with this lodge. And then I've got a couple more kind of cool things about Animal Kingdom, but maybe Matt will hit on them.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the amenities. We are at a deluxe resort, so you're going to get these large pool areas. There are 2 large pool areas at Animal Kingdom Lodge. You have the Uzima pool and the Samawati pool. And they're both large pool areas that are available. They have slides, they have water features, they have poolside bars, all that kind of stuff that you would get with your deluxe resort reservation, that kind of stuff. Also with the deluxe resorts, you get like the movies under the stars and a lot of the same things that, across the board with the resorts that you're going to get with arcades and gift shops and that kind of stuff. So it is a deluxe resort, so you're getting those deluxe resort accommodations and those deluxe resort amenities. Also, with the DVC side of it, you are getting the ability for laundry service centers and that kind of stuff, as well as recreation and fitness centers. So you've got a playground, you've got a fitness center, that kind of stuff. So on the amenity side, again, it falls in line with your deluxe resorts, with the pools for me and the Savannah being the stars of this resort. So
that is absolutely, that last statement you said cannot be discounted. Why would you want to stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge? It comes down to whether you stay in a Savannah View room or not. The oneness with nature, Wilderness Lodge / Fort Wilderness are the only 2 that could possibly rival this. But this is different than that, because Wilderness Lodge and Fort Wilderness just kind of celebrate like the natural nature around you. This is celebrating the nature of Africa. You feel like you're transported to, a large reserve in Africa. So absolutely right there. Another really quick cool thing, and then we'll see what finishing touches we have to put on this. But kind of one unique thing that runs out of Animal Kingdom Lodge that a lot of people don't know about is out of Animal Kingdom Lodge, Matt mentioned that this is a completely different savannah than the Kilimanjaro Safari. And so you can, at Animal Kingdom Lodge, book a Starlight Safari. And obviously, as with anything, any special thing, it's not like, oh, I just signed up for it and it's included. It is going to cost you a little bit of money. But what is really cool about this is this experience. I'm just pulling up the price. It's about $75 to $85 is the price per person for being able to do this. But it is a drive through this savannah at night. And so you want to talk about like, when are these animals most active? Matt and my constant tips for approaching Animal Kingdom, the park, is head straight for Kilimanjaro Safari, because if you go midday, especially in summer, good luck finding an animal, because they're all hiding under the shade and they're all just like laying down, relaxing for the most part. So this is in the night. You drive through this reserve and they give you night vision devices so that you can see clearly into the savannah to see these animals up and moving around in the twilight while the temperatures are knocked down and they're at their kind of most active before they go to sleep for the night. So it's just a really, really neat, cool experience to be able to take that drive and head around. And I'm looking, I don't see the time of the ride, like how long this journey is. Well, I can approximate that it's about an hour long, because on the booking you can book an 8:30 or a 10 p.m. So
that would make sense.
About an hour long gives them time to end the one and prepare for the next is kind of my assumption. So about an hour long trek through these savannas. So really, really neat. Something that you can do for sure. And outside of that, like I said, there's a bunch of these kind of unique lounges and bars and pool bars and stuff like that. But, all of those things are just sort of, I wouldn't destination those in order to go add them into my trip. I would absolutely have destination to go enjoy some of those restaurants or to take in those savannah scenes and all of that stuff. And Matt was talking about the pools. The Kamawati, that one is really neat because it's all themed after an African watering hole. So the whole thing is like zero entry. The whole bottom is like dark brown. It's just kind of just fun. I think it's the Wadi one, but I'm not certain on that.
So let's kind of put this up against the other deluxe resorts. So when we're talking about deluxe resorts, contemporary, Polynesian, Floridian, Riviera, those types of resorts, where does this kind of fall in your tiers? For me, it's very much like a specialty stay. It's one of those, you either love the resort and you stay there all the time, or it's that one-off stay where you're like, hey, I want to just splurge and do a Savannah room and stay there one visit and that be it. What does this hotel do for you?
So kind of the second thing, and not necessarily that it's just a one-off, like, hey, but it's one of those things where if you go to Disney a bunch and you've never stayed in a Savannah View at Animal Kingdom in any of the three aspects of Savannah View, whether it's the Lodge or Jumbo or Kidani, why haven't you? Like if you're this big Disney goer, I would put this up there with one of those like unique experiences that if you're a big Disney goer, you do this. You do this at some point. Now, if you're a big deluxe resort goer, I can tell you that in terms of the deluxe resorts, this is down towards the bottom of the deluxe resorts, mostly because I don't want like people coming after me about this. And let's be completely honest. The prices reflect that. Matt just went through the prices of next year. If you go talk about most of the other deluxe resorts, you're in the 500s or 600s for the basic rooms.
Yeah.
These are rolling in at about $50 to $60 higher than the Port Orleans and the Caribbeans, because the biggest drawback to this site is every other deluxe resort, I can get to something not on a bus.
Yes.
Right? So I've got the Magic Kingdom ones, and I can get to Epcot and Magic Kingdom on the monorail. I've got the Epcot ones, and I can either just walk into Epcot or get on the Skyliner to go to Hollywood Studios or Epcot if I'm over towards like Riviera. If I even go over, you're like, no, that's ridiculous, Peter. You're completely wrong. Saratoga and Key West and like great, but I can get to Disney Springs. So those are really, really awesome places to stay if you want the deluxe accommodations, but you're there for 12 days with 5 park days. why wouldn't you stay at Saratoga Springs or Old Key West?
But it's reflected in the price as well. When you think about a Saratoga Springs as well, you're not getting to 2 parks and you're not having 2 modes of transportation to 2 parks.
Right. And so Key West, Saratoga Springs, and Animal Kingdom Lodge are all approximately in the same price range, which are all in the lower price range of what a deluxe resort is going to cost you
exactly
for a stay at Disney. And again, it is, I don't know if you want it. And here's the deal. Like, why isn't there a dedicated tram walk that runs from the 2 Animal Kingdom Lodge properties, Kidani and Jambo and the Lodge, over to Animal Kingdom versus actually having to board a bus and drive it in? Like you could do something like that. And I would even classify that if they off to the side paved a tram road that takes me up to Animal Kingdom's gate or to a side gate that's the most convenient entry point, and make a side entry the same way they've done in the back of Epcot, then this would start to climb the list. But one of the biggest draws to staying at a deluxe resort, or even most intermediate resorts for that matter, or even why I will always 100% of the time try to talk my clients into Pop Century over All-Star, is the bus. It's awesome that it's provided. Never, ever take it away. Otherwise, you kill your complete business model, Disney World. But it drags on you if you're there for 7 days and you've boarded 20-something buses. There. Because it does.
The reason why they can't do that is Animal Kingdom Lodge faces the backside of Avatar. So to come in...
Yeah, I know they can't, because when you bring up that bus line, you see the giant buildings for the Avatar area. Yeah. I don't know. There's got to be like another way, though, to the side of the savannah that like they could make a second entrance back there, like by Kilimanjaro, and let you go from Animal Kingdom Lodge straight into Africa. But again, that would be staffing, and so if they were to do that, like give me a separate entrance that just Animal Kingdom heads into, small security checkpoint, a la Contemporary and those types of things.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Well, that is our deep dive into Animal Kingdom Lodge. Hopefully you got some insight out of that. You know, we're going to continue to do these for rides, restaurants, and resorts until we run out of things to talk about. And it's going to take us a while because there's a ton of things at Walt Disney World, and after March we'll extend it to Disneyland. Yeah.
We're going to be like 5 years from now, we're going to be like, Small World.
All right. Well, Peter, thanks for coming on with us tonight. If you have any thoughts or opinions on Animal Kingdom Lodge, definitely put them in the Spotify chat or over into the YouTube chat, wherever you feel like they are going to be the most heard. And always drop those comments for that interaction with us, because we love that kind of stuff. But got to put the kids to bed now, so thank you guys all for joining us tonight. Peter, thank you for coming on the show. We will see you next week. Peter with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel joined us tonight. We had a wonderful show where we talked a bunch of positive news. Top 3 about Magic Kingdom, deep dive about Animal Kingdom Lodge. If you are looking for us on social media, you can find us just about everywhere. Over on Facebook at DPI Podcast for the page for the channel, at Princesses and the Mouse, at PATM Disney Travel for the travel side. Over on Twitter, we're not banned anymore, at Disney Insights. You can find us there, and then the YouTube channel and Instagram. Thank you guys all for joining us, either watching, listening, liking, sharing, everything that you do. The channel appreciates it. You guys all have a good week, and we will talk to you next week.